At the beginning, we see a couple, Madeline and Owen, working in the garage of their house. Both are scientists living a happy married life while trying to make time travel possible with limited resources. Despite the challenges, they remain confident in their experiment. One day, while testing a prototype, a fire breaks out in their lab. They quickly grab the prototype, extinguish the fire, and return to work. Determined to succeed, they push forward. Madeline carefully checks all the codes for their time travel project. Once everything looks correct, they test the machine by placing an orange inside. To their relief, the experiment works. The orange disappears and reappears exactly 1 minute later, just as they had programmed it. Excited by their success, they discuss their progress. They had even designed a mask to eventually conduct experiments on humans. However, before testing on any living beings, they wanted to be absolutely certain the process was safe. To celebrate, they invite their investor, Mr. Rory, over that evening. Rory, who had been funding their project for a long time, is thrilled. He sees this as a future gold mine and discusses the potential profits. Owen shares his next plan, testing on a living creature like a mouse. Madeline, however, is hesitant. She doesn't want to endanger a life, but Owen insists, and she reluctantly agrees. Later, Madeline and Owen attempt to send a mouse into the future using their machine. While Owen remains confident, Madeline is visibly nervous. Suddenly, the experiment goes wrong, causing a massive explosion. Furious, Madeline asks Owen to leave so she can work alone. As she reviews the codes, Madeline discovers an error she had made earlier due to her nervousness. Regretting her mistake, she corrects it but decides she cannot risk another living being. Instead, she chooses to test the experiment on herself. Madeline records an audio message for Owen, explaining her decision. She knows there's a chance she may not return. Wearing the prototype mask, she activates the machine. Instantly, she vanishes. The next morning, Madeline wakes up in the garden. Owen, who had been frantically searching for her, finds her and brings her inside. From their conversation, we learn that Madeline had been missing all night, and Owen was terrified. However, her return confirms that their experiment worked. Though Madeline is safe, she has no memory of what happened during her time away. As Owen works, Madeline appears and stares at him oddly. Before he can react, she attacks him. In self-defense, Owen pushes her down the stairs, causing her to hit her head and die instantly, only to see another Madeline emerge from the garage. After some discussion, it's revealed that this Madeline is the real one, and she has no memory of what happened during the time travel either. When she checked the computer in the garage, she discovered another mistake in the code. This error had caused multiple clones of her to be created, and these clones would keep appearing in the garden daily for 3,100 days. Feeling guilty, he apologizes for killing her clone, even though it had attacked him. Real Madeline, however, explains that the clones behave erratically because they believe they're the real her. She tells Owen that if they want a normal life together, he'll have to destroy every clone that appears. Reluctantly, Owen agrees. The next morning, Owen waits in the garden. When a clone appears, he stabs it in the neck and disposes of the body using acid. He finds this process deeply unsettling, so he devises a less violent method. He sets up a tent and prepares nitrogen gas cylinders to suffocate the clones as soon as they appear. The plan works. Each day, a clone enters the tent, and Owen releases the gas, killing it. He then disposes of the body with acid. This becomes Owen's grim daily routine. But one day, something unusual happens. A clone enters the tent, but shows no movement. When Owen checks inside, he finds the clone already dead. This discovery terrifies both Owen and Madeline. Unable to understand what's happening, they bring the body to their lab for examination, but the tests reveal nothing. Madeline feels guilty, knowing Owen has been killing her clones repeatedly because of her mistake. Neither of them can bear the situation any longer. She decides to use the machine again, but this time, instead of traveling to the future, she plans to go to the past. Her goal is to stop herself from ever entering the machine, preventing the creation of the clones. Owen is terrified of this plan. He knows they've never successfully sent anything to the past, and all previous attempts have failed. He pleads with her not to do it, but Madeline is determined. The next day, Madeline decides to try a different approach. She tells Owen that instead of killing her clones, they should talk to them calmly to find a way to close the loop. However, when the next duplicate arrives, it immediately tears through the tent with a knife and attacks the real Madeline. She defends herself, and Owen steps in to kill the clone. Afterward, Madeline realizes talking to her duplicates won't work. Every clone that arrives is filled with rage. Madeline decides to help Owen kill her duplicates. For the next several days, they work together, eliminating each clone in different ways, hoping to end the loop faster. One day, Rory unexpectedly visits to check on the experiment's progress. Madeline explains that the experiment with time travel hasn't worked perfectly and asks for more time. Although Rory is eager for results, he understands big breakthroughs take time and agrees to wait. The following day, while waiting for another clone to arrive, Owen and Madeline get distracted. When the clone suddenly appears, Owen panics and attacks, but the clone evades him. In the chaos, Owen accidentally stabs the real Madeline, killing her. Overwhelmed with guilt, Owen breaks down. At that moment, the newly arrived clone, Madeline 51, understands the situation. Unlike the others, she is calm, loving, and compassionate. She assures Owen that she doesn't blame him and expresses her desire to stay with him. After talking, Owen learns that she is the 51st clone and that he had killed 50 clones before her. Madeline 51 decides that she will help Owen kill all future clones so they can live together in peace. Though Owen regrets losing the real Madeline, he reluctantly agrees to be with Madeline 51. She consoles him, and they call Rory back to demonstrate the experiment. In Rory's presence, they place an egg inside the machine and set a timer. The egg disappears, and moments later, a chicken appears. Rory is thrilled, declaring the experiment a success. However, Madeline 51 and Owen explain that the experiment isn't fully stable yet and refuse to showcase it publicly. Rory urges them to finish it quickly, so he can start profiting from it. From that day forward, Madeline 51 and Owen continue working together, just as Madeline 1 and Owen did. As time passes, Madeline 51 continues to kill the duplicates. Owen, however, is struggling. He misses Madeline 1 and feels guilty about the bodies he has to hide. He finds it increasingly difficult to dispose of them in time. One day, Madeline 51 has an idea. She goes to Rory's house with Owen, where she talks to him alone, leaving Owen outside. When Owen enters, he learns that Madeline has explained everything to Rory, including the constant arrival of duplicates. Rory agrees to help them, offering additional funding to help dispose of the bodies along with his experiment. Despite the offer, Owen is still unhappy. He wants to be with Madeline 1, realizing Madeline 51's obsessive love for him. So, he decides to continue his experiments on his own, hoping to send something to the past. He tests with an apple, hoping that if he succeeds, he can travel to the past and stop Madeline 1 from creating the time loop. Though Owen thinks his experiment failed, Madeline 51 receives the apple in the past, realizing Owen is still trying to travel through time. This makes her furious. The next day, when Owen is waiting for the next clone to appear, Madeline 51 attacks him, knocking him unconscious. When Owen wakes up, he finds himself tied to a chair in the lab. In front of him stands Madeline 115, a much angrier and more aggressive version. From Madeline 115's words, Owen learns that Madeline 51 had stopped killing the duplicates for a while to build an army and gain full control over him. Madeline 51 now understands the mistake she made by letting Madeline 115 live. She's put both her life and Owen's in danger, but she feels powerless to stop it. Madeline 115, full of rage, starts taking control, gathering more duplicates to help her carry out her plans. Madeline 115 reveals more about their creation. When Madeline 1 first did the experiment on herself, she reached the future and her duplicates followed. However, Madeline 1 returned from the future, but her clones were left behind. During that time, Madeline 115 fought against other Madelines to become their leader, seeking justice for her life and what she's been through. Madeline 115 had been waiting for the right moment to return to the present. Her goal was clear: kill all the other Madelines and claim Owen for herself. Upon learning this, Owen grows angrier, but remains helpless. One night, a Madeline approaches Owen, seemingly wanting to be close to him. Owen assumes she is Madeline 51, the kind and gentle one. Hoping to escape, he begins flirting with her to gain her trust. However, before anything can happen, Madeline 115 appears and kills this duplicate. Owen is horrified. Madeline 115 turns to him, consumed by jealousy, and begins strangling him. However, the Madeline she killed wasn't Madeline 51. Meanwhile, the real Madeline 51 witnesses this horrific scene from a distance, terrified. To save Owen and herself, she takes him to Rory's house, seeking refuge. Together, they resolve to execute Madeline 1's original plan, go back to the past, and stop her from starting the experiment. Madeline 51 knows that if they succeed, she will cease to exist. Still, she prioritizes Owen's safety. As they prepare to implement their plan, Madeline 115 follows them, determined to stop them. Due to sabotage from Madeline 115's interference with the computer, Owen is accidentally sent to the future instead. Owen finds himself in a desolate desert with a van nearby. Inside the van, he encounters Madeline 115, who reveals that she lured him here on purpose. She explains there's no way to return from this place, ensuring Owen will remain with her forever. Enraged, Owen grabs a knife and stabs Madeline 115 in the mouth. Madeline 115 retaliates, fatally wounding Owen. Both of them die in the van. The scene shifts to the past, where Madeline 1 is about to begin her experiment. Suddenly, Madeline 51 appears and stops her just in time. This action ensures that the chain of events leading to the duplicates and the chaos never begins, leaving the future intact and free of the loop. With this, the movie concludes. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.